Wyoming Cowboy football team. We would like to thank Kevin McDonald and the Boise Organizing Committee for the invite to the Famous Idaho Potato Bowl. It is a great opportunity for our football program to continue its development, and it's a really exciting opportunity for our fan base, especially the fans on Western Wyoming, from Western Wyoming, who can get to Boise fairly easily. We're excited about the opportunity. We are excited to play Central Michigan University, which is a great football team at 8-4, and looking forward to our trip to Boise, Idaho.
Well, I know ticket sales started. You know the whole.
Mentioned, Robert, we've got to sell $125,000 worth of tickets at $50 a piece, so that's 2,500 tickets. And ticket sales were pretty strong this morning, so that's a good sign. And we are going to push hard to get as many Wyoming folks as we can to Boise. The excitement for back-to-back bowl games, Wyoming fans know that we can't take bowl games for granted, and we need to be fired up to be there, and I think they will show up in force and support their football team. But it's awfully early at this stage to say whether we can hit 2,500 or where we're going to land, but the phones are ringing and the orders are coming in.
I know with some other teams in the Mountain West that, you know, it seemed like things were a little hectic yesterday with where teams went. I guess it sounded like did that mostly avoid affecting Wyoming at all? And I guess how did maybe not having the Poinsettia Bowl this year affect things?
Well, you had 6 bowl-eligible teams, and there was times during the last 48 hours, I know, where Commissioner was concerned about placing all 6 bowl-eligible teams, but he got it done, and I tip my hat to him because there are 3 teams, if I remember right. I think there are 3 teams that did not get a chance to compete in a bowl game, and that's unfortunate for them, but good for the Mountain West Conference that all of our bowl-eligible teams are playing somewhere and celebrating success.
That too, Tom, is to get all 6 of them in, and I know there's the sharing of the payouts and all that stuff and money distribution, but does that say something about the Mountain West that it did get all of its bowl-eligible teams into bowls?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, Conference USA and the MAC have teams that are watching and are bowl-eligible, and the Mountain West isn't in that position, so I think that's a tribute to the kind of football we play in the Mountain West and our national perception. But sometimes there are years when there's going to be teams that are left behind, and hopefully the Mountain West is not one of them.
I guess just timing of this bowl, do you like where it's at? I believe, you know, the time it's on, it's the only bowl game going at that moment. It's on ESPN overall. Are you happy with kind of? I
like the idea of the afternoon game. I think that will drive some viewers, and it's on ESPN. I also think that ticket sales will be improved because it is an afternoon game. It allows your fan base, especially those Wyoming fans that are traveling and Central Michigan fans that got a long way to travel, you can get home the night of the 22nd or get close to home, and that's I think that will help. If we were playing on the night of the 22nd like last year, it's going to be a little more difficult. You're traveling all day the 23rd. So, yeah, we're excited about it. It's all positive.
What have you heard from your colleagues around the league? I know you mentioned CSU played in this game last year, about what their team's experiences were. You know, they have them there for almost 5 days before the game. Just what kind of feedback have you gotten from colleagues about this game?
What we have heard is Boise does a really nice job, and it's important to the city of Boise. It's important to Kevin, who's the executive director. But bowl games are successful when it's important to the community, both the leadership of the community, but the corporate partners in the community and the volunteer base. What we want is our student athletes to feel special, because they should. And I think the people of Boise are going to roll out the red carpet and make the Wyoming Cowboys and the Central Michigan Chippewas feel great. We've heard nothing but that from others who have participated in this game.
Do you have a timeline in terms of when you have to be there?
The football team has to be there on the 18th. Okay. Most of our staff will be there on the 18th. When I say staff, all the football staff will be there. Some of the support staff will come late on the 18th, and then we have, obviously, we have a basketball game on the 19th, and we have a very important wrestling match against Oklahoma State and Cheyenne. So we're going to have our staff divided up a little bit, and some won't be able to go, but that's just part of working in college athletics.
Is it a downside at all just to go to a location where the team has already played once this year?
I guess you should probably ask the players, but my take on it is we're there to win, and we have a comfort level. We played pretty well at Boise, so I don't think there's any downside to the number one objective is how do we win the game? How do we get to 8 wins 2 years in a row?
You kind of alluded to this a little bit yesterday, Tom, but going back to back, you've seen this program have some highs and been through some lean years, and it's been a while going back to 87, 88. Just what type of a statement do you kind of feel that makes about the football program and the state it's in right now?
Yeah, well, Cowboy football uses a hashtag building something special. I think this is a step in building something special. I mean, what you want to do is you want to routinely compete for conference championships. We've done that 2 years in a row, and we're going to win one. And it's just a matter of time, and I don't think there's any doubt that that's going to happen. So that's exciting. You know, I looked, 1993, the Cowboys went to the Copper Bowl, and then until I think 2008, 15 years later, they only competed in one bowl game, one other bowl game. So to go back to back is impressive, and I tip my hat to Coach Bohl and the staff and the young men in our program.
Tom, for fans who can't attend, we are partnering with Big Brothers Big Sisters on some tickets as well.
Yeah, obviously our goal is to get as many fans to Boise, Idaho as possible to support the Wyoming Cowboys, and I think our fans are going to be there. But if for some reason Wyoming fans can't and they'd like to support the Wyoming program, the University of Wyoming, they can purchase tickets through our ticket office, which our ticket office will partner with the Boys and Girls Club, or excuse me, the Big Brothers Big Sisters of Southwest Idaho, that we are a joint partnership with the Famous Idaho Potato Bowl, and you can send some well-deserving young people to an opportunity to go to a college football bowl game, which is really exciting, and it helps the young people and it helps the University of Wyoming.
Any other questions for Tom? Coach, we're going to open it up to you for an opening statement, and then we'll present some questions to you after your opening statement.
Very well, guys. It's always great. Too bad I can't be here. As you know, we're out recruiting, but on behalf of our football program, we're really excited to echo some of the statements that Tom has just made. This is a great bowl game, an excellent opponent. Central Michigan enjoys a great national reputation. Our football players are excited about this ball game. It's an opportunity for us to get 8 wins, and to go back to back is certainly special. And our players are really excited about going to Boise. Boise is a great community. I know that everything that Boise does is first class. This is my colleagues around the country have spoken great things about this bowl game. I think that the fact that Tom mentioned it's in the afternoon, really want to encourage our fans to come and paint the town brown and gold. It'll be a great experience, and we're certainly excited about playing.
Yes, Craig, I know you're on the road recruiting, but when is what's kind of the preparation for the team? Do you start practicing when you get back later this week, or do you know kind of a timeline of how you prepare for this?
Yeah, we've laid some plans out. We had different scenarios. We will start practice on Thursday and have several practices through the weekend. We probably will not practice next Monday, maybe Tuesday, and then we'll come back and resume. We need to have some time for our players to prepare for finals. But there'll be some really intense practices. This is going to be a great opportunity for us to take a step forward.
Coach, I think last year you talked about using these practices kind of as obviously a way to prepare for the game, but also to maybe get some younger guys involved in preparation for next year. Is that kind of a similar approach this time around as well?
Well, certainly is. I think if you ask any college football coach that has a pleasure and opportunity to play in these bowl games, it does give some of your younger players an opportunity to get some practice reps in. However, our main focus is going to be to win the game.
Craig, I know you'll get back and maybe get a better gauge of this, but how's the health of your team, at least what you know now going into this?
Well, we had a couple light practices on over the weekend. Josh was out there competing and throwing, and we were really encouraged. I think the arrow certainly is pointing up as far as his progression, and so that was really encouraging to say he's at 100%. I don't know, between Josh and I and our sports medicine people, that would be quite accurate, but he's pretty doggone far along, significant improvement. So I know that's going to be an asked question many times. I don't have the answer right now, but I would say it would be very probable he'll be at 100%. We're still looking at a couple guys being out, Ravante Holt, several other guys, but we're hopeful that some of these guys are going to be able to come back before the bowl game.
So, Coach, if he is 100%, that you expect him to play with so many players that have NFL aspirations, they sit out these bowl games. He doesn't seem like that type of guy. Do you expect him to play if he's 100%?
Yeah, Josh and I have had some candid conversations about that. And he's all in for the Wyoming Cowboys, and that the marker is going to be 100%, and so that. He and I both discussed that. He'll have, consultation with our sports medicine's office. But I know Josh really wants to play. He also wants to have the best player to go out there to help us win. We believe he'll be in that position. If he's 100%, he's going to play.
Coach, I know after the San Jose State game, you mentioned you thought Caden had a torn ACL, and also Javari Jackson with a knee injury. Or any updates on those two guys?
Yeah, thanks for refreshing my memory. We did find out that there really was not an ACL tear with Caden. There's an opportunity for him to be back. That'll be touch and go, but we'll know certainly more this next week. We also feel like Javari is going to come back and be in good shape for the bowl game.
Craig, how hard has this been to juggle with the new signing period coming up on December 20th, and you guys are out recruiting and now getting ready to prepare for a bowl game? Just how challenging has it been even to this point to juggle all of that?
Well, typically, Robert, football coaches are not great multitaskers. We're very focused on the task at hand. However, in this day and age, your program is really, it's imperative to multitask. We've been doing in-season recruiting all during the fall, and we've gotten some really good results from that. Along with that, we've got some great inroads in our recruiting base. And then the other thing that has helped, our experience last year in preparing for a bowl game, and then just our coaching staff, particularly myself, through the years of, a long period of time in between your last game and the bowl game, what kind of recipe to use. We feel like we've got a lot of balls up in the air, but we're juggling them fine right now.
Coach, do you like going to a venue, A, that you played at before, but also a venue where a Mountain West kind of town, maybe you can get a little bit of hometown support?
Well, we've got, us in Boise, particularly the last 2 years, have enjoyed some great competition. We want to congratulate Boise State for representing our conference and winning the conference championship. Each time that I've gone to Boise, I know my family members have gone to Boise. I think it's a hidden gem. Our guys are really excited about the ball game. Boise's a phenomenal community, and I know I really want to encourage our fans. If you've not been there, it'll be a great experience.
Coach, I know there's been some discussion about maybe creating a rule in the NCAA where red shirts would be able to play in the bowl game and things like that. Do you have thoughts on, any sort of rule like that in the future?
Sure. I'm on our competition committee, and that's a much debated topic along with the AFCA Board of Trustees. At times, the whole landscape has changed with eligibility. There's ideas being thrown out that a guy can compete in 4 games, whichever one you choose, and still retain another year. That's going to be a topic that will go into this legislative cycle. For us, and I think a lot of other colleagues around the country, we would be open to having a guy have an opportunity, because what quite frankly happens is some guys end up playing 1 game and using the whole year. There's not a lot of flexibility. The rules are what they are. We all know them, but I think they certainly can be tweaked to benefit the student athlete.
Coach, can you just touch on the trajectory of your team and going to bowl games back-to-back and just kind of how that fit a little bit with your timeline?
Well, I appreciated Tom Burman's comments because there's probably nobody well-versed on Cowboy football between he and Kevin McKinney. And I wouldn't classify this as historic, but it certainly, I think, is an indication that we're really making progress to laying, I believe, a great foundation for long-term success, which is really what Cowboy football has been lacking. There's a clear vision, a clear commitment by our university. There's an all-in approach by our coaching staff and our players, and this is another step forward. It was not by chance that, we qualified with 7 wins. This football team's resilient, but I think a lot of the building blocks that were laid over the last couple of years are now to bear the fruit of our labors.
Craig, would you say too another step would be to finish this season strong with a win and a bowl win? Is that another step in the progression in your mind?
It is, Robert. We've got competitive guys, and you go through a rigorous schedule, and there was no doubt as we got to the tail end of the year, just because of how Lady Luck fell, some of our guys were pretty doggone beat up. That's not to take away anything from San Jose State, but those are just the facts, and this is going to be an opportunity for our football team to be refreshed, redefined, and re-energized to come up with an 8th win.
Anything else for Coach?
Coach, what do you think this team learned about playing in a bowl game from last year that they can take over to this year's bowl game with all those guys coming back?
Well, I think, first of all, nothing drives you more than your expectation. The opportunity for our players to I've got an ambulance coming up here, guys, and they're not coming after me. They're going to go past. Expectations are such that that raises each player's expectation. Certainly, a familiarity with practicing some of the festivities that occur. Going through in your preparation, how important the practices are at your home site are really important, because I think our players recognize when you get to the on-site bowl game, there's a lot of festivities which are really, really fun and great to participate in, but many times, you don't have an opportunity to prepare like you would in a regular season week, and so our players recognize the importance of practices in Laramie. And then I think last year, just coming up short and not winning the game, our guys really have a desire in their heart to finish this season off on a high note. And we know we're going to be challenged by Central Michigan, but it's a great opportunity and a really great opponent.